Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us on this webinar today on an overview of Salesforce automation. My name is Shehzad, and I'm from the customer success team of Zoho, and I majorly onboard customers for an amount of 45 to 60 days after they sign up for Zoho. And I train them, give them demos on various apps of Zoho. So, in today's webinar, we are going to talk about two main things. Number one, what is Salesforce automation? Number two, why do we need Salesforce automation? We'll also talk about some functionalities of Zoho CRM that can support your sales automation needs. And we'll be discussing this with various business scenarios. So I'm sure you guys would like to compare your businesses with how Salesforce automation can be used. I'll also take you guys through my CRM account to show you some features that you guys can make use of. And lastly, we'll discuss some frequently asked questions. So we've divided this webinar into three different scenarios. Number one is we're going to talk about a typical day in the life of a sales team. Let's understand what are the challenges that a sales team faces when they work every day. So the first challenge is knowing which lead to give high priority. Because in a day, you receive about hundreds to thousands of leads. And knowing which lead to call first, which lead to reach out to, which lead to send an email to, which lead to call back later on, all of these things is something that a sales team needs to think about. So where do they start? That's when you need a system that can actually take care of having all your leads in one particular area. The second challenge that they face is communication with different prospects, leads, and customers. So, taking the first scenario in mind, if we do not know which lead to call first, we are just going to go ahead, call them, call each and every lead, leave out so many voicemails, send out so many emails, and that's actually time consuming. And that's where without a system in place, you won't have a place to track. Data entering in CRM again is a vital part because as a sales team, as a salesperson, it's important for you to enter your leads and fetch all their information. Now, if I just have a lead's email address and phone number and their name without having any other information like what company do they work for, what company are you dealing with, that's also important. So data entering in CRM is another challenge that a sales team faces. Fourth one would be searching for new record updates. How would you know what's going on with a specific lead? How would you know what you spoke with a specific lead when you called them yesterday? So, unless and until you keep a track of all that, if you do not have a system in place, it's going to be very, very difficult for you to keep a track of the notes, the activities that you perform. So, of course, these challenges would result in a lot of time that's lost, which is equal to loss of revenue as well. So they lose a lot of revenue if the leads are not reached on time. So what's the solution for this? So the solution for this is going to be Salesforce automation, as it would let you have a system in place and make sure that you're able to track each and every interaction with a lead or with a contact. So to give you a quick brief of what Salesforce automation is inside CRM, it includes 5 different modules: leads, contacts, accounts, deals, and activities. These are the 5 different modules that Salesforce automation includes. And let me just give you a quick definition of what each and every module is. I'm sure most of you would be aware of it because you might have used another CRM or you might be using Zoho CRM as well. So a lead is a prospect, and raw, you can call them as raw information. You do not know whether they can or they'll not be your customers. So lead is, of course, raw information. They can come in from various sources. They can come in from web. They can come in from, a trade show. All of these are various sources through which a lead can actually come inside your CRM. A contact is a customer. So when a lead gets nurtured, they get converted into a contact and they become your customers. An account is a contacts company. So to give you an example, an account can have multiple contacts under it, because if you are talking with a company, you're talking with a specific person who's from that company. So an account would have multiple contacts. There's no specific contact inside a company. There might be multiple people that might work for a specific organization. So that's called an account. And a deal is the place where you can track a specific business that you're having with your customers in a pipeline. It shows you various stages, different types of stages, where where you can track each and every stage and know where exactly is that deal at. So these are the main components that Salesforce automation would actually solve for a sales team. Number one, knowing which lead to give high priority and assigning the leads, of course, because without a lead owner in place, you will not be able to track who's responsible for that lead. Sales pipeline management, which is going to be the deals module that's going to let you do a pipeline management and track where that deal is specifically at. Number three is automating the routine tasks. So in a day, if you're receiving up to 200 leads, it's difficult for you to assign sales reps. So in that way, you can make sure that a task is assigned automatically after a lead gets created. Scheduling activity and notification is another important thing, because that keeps a track of any activity that a sales rep performs. And lastly is going to be reporting, because reports play a vital role in any company, as they show you a pictorial representation of what truly is happening in your business. So these are 5 different components of Salesforce automation, and we'll understand this as we move ahead. So what's the solution? Solution is Salesforce automation, but Salesforce automation is just not the solution. The features included inside the Salesforce automation is the solution. So the first solution is going to be lead generation, because if you're not getting leads inside your CRM, you'll not be able to follow up with them. So how can you receive leads? So web forms is a very important feature, as it lets you create a form on your website and get all the important information from a lead or anyone who's visiting your website. Because if anyone comes to know about your business, the very first thing that someone is going to do is go to their website and go to your website, and that's where they'll figure out that there is a form wherein they can fill out all the information they need. Live chat, another feature that lets the visitors on your website chat with you. So if someone has immediate questions, they can just chat with you and get the answers. And after they chat with you, you can push them as a new lead inside CRM. So this is one important way through which you can generate leads. And web forms are a part of CRM, so you can create forms inside CRM, map them with the right fields so that the information is stored inside your CRM. Data enrichment by Zia. So to explain this feature, let me first tell you what Zia is. Zia is an artificial intelligent software that Zoho has developed, and it makes use of machine learning. So it understands a lot of things that an automation cannot do. That's what Zia is. And data enrichment, it fetches information from the web. So to give you an example, let's say you create a new lead and you enter all of the information that you've got. So the only information you have is name, phone number, email address, and say company name. However, you do not have any other information about the company. You just know the name. So what's the next step? You'll go to the web, you'll search for the company name, and you'll try getting all the information that you can. How about Zia does this for you? So in that case, by making use of data enrichment, you can fetch information automatically from Zia. So as an example, over here, Zia is actually enriching information like address information, the phone number, and each and every information that it finds out on the web. So another way of fetching more information about any specific person or a company can be done by making use of data enrichment. Do not worry, I'm going to show you each and every feature while I do the demo. So data enrichment is something that we completely work on. Lead assignment rule Like I said earlier, it's very important for a lead or a contact to have an owner, because that's when you know who is responsible for a specific lead or who is responsible for a specific contact. So, by making use of lead assignment rules, whenever a lead or a contact is getting created, based on a condition, you can assign users. So, automatically, a specific user gets assigned to a lead. They can notify that a lead is created under their name, and they can go ahead and they can start following up. They can do the nurturing work. One thing that's important here is a lead assignment rule can be done by making use of a criteria, because criteria is important. Let's say if your organization is located in different countries, you have one organization in Australia, the other one in US, another one in Canada, and you have various employees working all over the world. In that case, when a lead gets created, assigning those leads can be done by making use of this criteria. So whenever the country is Australia, the leads get assigned to an Australian employee. Whenever it's US, it gets assigned to a US employee. That way, your leads would be filtered, segmented, and each and every organization or each and every particular region can do their own follow-ups. That's what lead assignment rule can do for you. Lead scoring, knowing which lead to follow up first, knowing which lead is very important, can be done by making use of this feature. Lead scoring lets you rank your leads by knowing what actions that they have performed, and based on that you can start following up with them. So for example, after a lead gets created, and if the lead status is pre-qualified, then you add 10 points to that lead. If the industry is technology, you add another 10 points. So whichever lead score is 20, a specific salesperson would go ahead and follow up with them first. Whichever lead score is 0, that would be the last in their list. So that's what lead scoring can do for you. Lead reporting, reports again, like I said, is an important feature. So for you to know how many leads are getting created in a day, the best thing to do is create a report that shows you the number of leads that are getting created versus the number of leads that are created by making use of a lead source. Because lead source is very important. As you can see in this example, it shows you each and every source and the amount of leads that are created. So you as an employee or a manager of a sales team would know which leads are, which source is actually very important for you, whether it's advertisement or whether it's trade show. That's why you know. So reports is very important. An advantage of creating reports is you only have to create them once, and after that, whenever you need it, you can just go inside that report, refresh it, and you'll have the data updated. And you also have the 360-degree view of your prospects and customers. So I'm not really sure if most of them have had a look of that. So when you go inside your CRM, inside a contact or inside a lead, you get to see the related list that would be on the left hand side of your screen, and it shows you each and everything that you need. It shows you notes, it shows you the emails to keep a track of the emails that are sent, it shows you the activities, so you get to see the amount of activities that are done on a specific lead. It shows you sales orders, purchase orders, invoices. So each and everything specific to a prospect or a customer would be shown inside. So you can keep a track of each and every customer whenever you need to. And let's say if a specific customer comes back to you after 2 years and you still want to see what's happened before, CRM will still keep a track of it. And that's why 360-degree view of your prospects and customers is very important inside CRM. And this is something that you do not have to set up. This is a feature that's already available inside CRM. And we have different types of channels available that let you track all the communications that you have. We have telephony that lets you make and receive calls from CRM. All you need to do is integrate a phone bridge provider with CRM, and then you're good to go. You can start making and receiving calls right from CRM. Emails, like I said earlier, you can sync your emails with Zoho so that you don't have to log into your mailbox each and every day. You can track, send emails, receive emails right from Zoho. That's Sales Inbox. Live chat. This feature lets you chat with the visitors that come on your website. So you can chat with them. convert them into leads, and communicate with them in an easier way. And lastly, we also have social media. We all know how important social media has become these days. So keeping a track of what's happening on your social media is also important. And you can start fetching leads from your social media and push them pretty seamlessly so that you don't have to create them again and again. And tracking the open activities and sales history is something that I just spoke about in the 360-degree view of CRM. So it looks something like this. As you can see in this example, the sales orders, the invoices, the open activities created are right there. So whenever you go inside a specific account or a contact, you get to see all the information, and you know how important that account is or how important that contact is. Multiple sales pipeline. I'm sure most of you would have used the deals module, right? And we all have seen one single pipeline that lets you track that specific deal in different stages. What if your company is dealing with multiple products? In that case, you cannot keep adding stages inside one single pipeline. That would create a very big pipeline with different stages. So that's why we have this option to have to create multiple sales pipelines, wherein based on each and every product, you can create different pipelines, and whenever you create a deal, you can choose the right pipeline and the stages will be automatically popped up. So multiple sales pipeline is also a new feature inside CRM. And for those who haven't started using it, I would like you to probably explore that once and let us know how it works. Workflow rules, we all know how important this particular feature is. Lets you automate your entire process. So most of them want to send out emails after a lead is created. Most of them want to create tasks after the lead is created. Doing that manually, going inside each and every lead after a lead getting created, sending them emails, it's going to consume a lot of your time. And creating tasks one by one, it's again going to consume a lot of your time. In that way, in that case, you can make use of workflow rules, create a workflow, and make sure that all of these are automated. So whenever a lead gets created, based on a specific condition, you can send out an email. And the templates might differ. That's why we have the conditions option so that you can choose the right criteria and send it out. So if you look at this example here, whenever the lead source is trade show, there's an email notification that's sent out. But whenever a lead source is advertisement, I might want to send out another email because they've just come through an advertisement and not through a trade show. That way, my template would differ. So workflow rules will actually let you automate your entire process. And these are basic actions, but the actions that are used are pretty common in most of the customers that have used Zoho CRM. Scheduling activities and sending out notification like task, meeting, emails, and calls. These are four major ways through which you can track your activity. One good example that we spoke about was automatically creating a task whenever a lead is getting created. So if a task is getting created automatically, how would a specific lead owner or a specific person, a salesperson, would know? So notifying them is important, and you cannot notify them personally each and every time. That's why you can automatically notify them whenever a task is getting created, so that they can start following up with them, and you do not miss out on that lead. So over here you have an example, and there's a workflow that's created. And looking at that example, we have two conditions, in fact, three conditions. And the first condition is when the email is sent to sales@zilker.com, and if the subject contains interested in demo, then the lead, then there's a field update that's happening. Lead status gets updated. There's a Slack notification that's sent out, so people get notified on Slack. You can also make use of Click, either of it, and a task gets created. So three actions happening for one specific condition. So this way you can make sure that your process is automated. But this is pretty easy to do, but it's also important for you to have your process on hand so that you know what kind of automation you need to create. So if you have a business, that actually concentrates on this, then I would suggest you to try these workflows out and see how that works. And lastly, we have sales reporting. We have different types of dashboards available. We all know how important reports are, so you can create some dashboards, share those dashboards with your managers, with your boss, and you can keep a track of what's happening. So one good example of a dashboard is right here that shows you pipeline versus different territories. Territory is nothing but having your organization is in different places, in different regions, so that way you can keep a track of what each and every of your organization is doing and amount of revenue that they are generating for you. Right, so we spoke about some features, right? So these are the features that we'll keep talking about as we move ahead, and we have two more scenarios left. The second scenario that we're going to be talking about is a day in the life of a sales manager. So we'll see what challenges a sales manager faces. So the first challenge that he or she would face is assigning the leads to reps. Because in a day you get a lot of leads, and assigning them to reps manually, it's not feasible. Secondly, building a standardized sales process. It's very important so that when you build a process, your entire sales team can follow that. So it's the job of a sales manager to do that, and it's one of the most important challenges that a manager would face. Tracking and improving the sales performance would be the third one. And lastly, it would be identifying the sales anomalies. So, four challenges that a sales manager would face, and let's see how we can overcome these challenges. So, the first solution would be lead management. Managing the leads, assigning them in such a way so that your users, the salespeople, are actually notified, because they spend a lot of time in ineffective prospecting. So by making use of lead assignment rules, you can assign the leads automatically. The sales manager can create a lead assignment rule so that the leads are getting assigned equally based on a specific condition, and you can make sure that they are managed properly. Building a standardized sales process is very important. And this is where we'll talk about multiple sales pipeline. Let's say if you have two rental businesses. Your company owns two types of businesses. Number one is the homestay rental, and the other one is co-working space. So these are two types of business that your company sells, and two different types of process that your company follows. So for homestay rental, they follow new booking request, an offer is made, booking confirmation is sent, and then the deal is closed won or closed lost. However, for co-working space, a new booking request is received, an offer is sent out, negotiation is done, a contract is sent, and then closed won or closed lost. So, how can you achieve this? So, whenever the new deals are getting created from these businesses, you can make sure that you have two different types of pipelines, so that whenever they choose homestay rental, they get these processes available. Whenever they choose co-working space, they have the other stages available. So based on that, you can keep a track of how much revenue your homestay rental is providing and how much revenue the co-working space is providing. So that's how a sales manager can build a standardized sales process, so your entire team follows this process without fail. And of course, automating the routine tasks and notifications. So we're going to talk about a scenario here. So let's say you wish to create a task for each sales rep every time a new lead is created. So a new lead comes in, the source does not matter, because it comes in inside your CRM, and you need a task to be created so your sales team follows up. If the lead is not contacted within 5 days, then you want to send out an email notification to the rep. So, say for example, if the rep forgets contacting that lead and it's 5 days, then you send out an email notification stating, hey, you still haven't contacted this lead. The third one would be once a lead has been contacted. So, the sales rep looks at the notification, starts calling the lead immediately, and after they've been contacted, you want to send out an acknowledgement email to that customer. And if the outgoing email is not replied within 2 days, you would like to assign another task to the rep. So this is one scenario that can be achieved by making use of workflow rules. So a task can be created when a lead is created. An email can be sent if the rep is not contacting that lead. And after the lead is contacted, an automated email can be sent out. So this is another way through which a manager can build their own process. And this can be done by making use of workflow rules. Sales reporting reports is a completely separate module that Zoho CRM has. It shows you different types of reports. You can create those reports and convert them to dashboards. Some important examples for reports are leads assigned to individual sales reps. You want to see the amount of leads a particular sales rep owns, the number of inbound and outbound calls made for the day, calls handled by each and every sales rep. So that way you can keep a track of the amount of the amount of work that a specific resource is doing. Making sure that you track your deals by stages, because if you have two different types of business or products that you're dealing with, tracking your deals by different stages is also very important. The fourth one would be deals closed by a specific sales rep. That way you get to know the amount of revenue that a sales rep is giving you. And lastly, looking at the overall monthly sales, that would also come under reports. So these are different types of reports that a sales manager can create. And I don't think that a sales manager needs to create this when he or she is making use of CRM, because these reports are already available inside CRM. If needed, you can modify it by making use of filters, so that you can, based on a month or based on a year, you can pull out reports. So these were the challenges that a sales manager was facing, and we found out the solution by how they can make use of Salesforce automation and the different features in it. So the last scenario for this webinar would be a day in the life of a sales rep. What are the challenges a sales rep faces? The first challenge, checking new emails. As soon as you log in, you have to go inside your email, see if you've received any email from a lead. Check if any new leads are assigned. So when the sales manager is making use of the lead assignment rules, and when the leads are getting automatically assigned to you, you would like to check the amount of leads that you've got for the day, the amount of leads you would want to follow up. Check your schedule, the meetings that you have, the amount of calls that you need to make for today. So you need to check your calendar as well. Updating customer information, not an easy job to do, because you have to go inside each and every contact and update it. So knowing which customer's information to update is very important for a sales rep. And lastly, sales target review. Each salesperson or each sales team would have their own target. Achieving that target is also important. So keeping a track of it, making sure that the target is reviewed properly, is another challenge that a sales rep faces. So how can these challenges be solved? Well, the answer to it is the same, Salesforce automation, but the features are a little different, and the way you're going to be making use of those features is also different. Automating the entire follow-ups that you have and sending out notifications. So some activities that can be automated for a sales rep would be notifying different sales reps when a prospect interacts with your company, and to keep a track of them in one place for future reference. So if a lead is getting in touch with you, keeping a track of what's happening, the amount of emails that are sent, it's very important. So that's one place where a sales rep might want to automate that process. The second one would be scheduling a prospecting call for all the qualified leads. So scheduling calls with them so that a rep does not forget reaching out to them is another solution for the challenges that they face. They can make use of the calendar that's available inside CRM to keep a track of all the meetings that they've got for the day. The third solution would be sending out immediate notifications to any sales rep or to a specific sales rep when a quote is received from an important deal. So if an estimate is received and you want to send out an immediate notification for a sales rep so that he or she can also keep a track of it, that can be another automation that a sales rep might want to do. And lastly, emailing a booking link, a calendar booking link to the prospect so that they can schedule a call with you at their convenience. Because rather than you asking them for time slots, it's always good to send out a calendar link so that they can click on that link, schedule a call at any available slot, and the call is available. The call will actually be pushed inside your Zoho CRM's calendar so that you can keep a track of it. So keeping a track of all the meetings, calls, and tasks is also important. The activities modules will let you do any meeting, any call, or a task that you have, that a sales rep has, can be tracked. Of course, meetings can be tracked, calls can be tracked inside the calendar. But to keep a track of the tasks that they have, they need to make use of the activities module. Sales performance, knowing how you perform and the target that you have in front of you is important. So by making use of reports, they can analyze monthly, quarterly, and yearly targets. They can see what's their target and how close are they to achieve that. Number of leads that they've engaged with. So the amount of time that you're spending in a day, the amount of leads that you're reaching out to is also important. And keeping a track of them, you can create some reports that can show you the amount of leads that you've called in a day. The last one would be the amount of leads that you're converting. So you spend all your time nurturing the lead. So knowing how many leads you've converted is also important. So you know the amount of revenue that you're generating. So if you keep a track of all these three particular features, then you will get to know the amount of revenue that you're generating. And this can be done by making use of the reports module. So let's move ahead to the demo. And I'm going to show you these features. I'm going to quickly run through these features before we end this webinar. So the very first feature that we'll talk about would be lead assignment rules. And when you go to settings, under the automation part, you have assignment rules as a feature. So assignment rules can be made used based on any criteria that you have. So you can just click on new assignment rule over here. Choose a module for which you would like to have the assignment rules for. So let's say I want an assignment rule for the contacts module, and I want to assign it based on country. So the first thing, apply this rule, whether it's going to be for all the records or whether it's going to be for the records matching certain conditions. So over here, I'll choose matching certain conditions because I have a condition in front of me, and that is country. So I'll choose mailing country is USA. So whenever the mailing country field has USA, then this assignment rule will be executed and the record will be assigned to this specific user. And then you can save it, or if you need a task to be created as soon as the lead is assigned, you can click on add task, create a new task, and create it over here. So two actions are happening in one shot. You can do it that way, or you can create a task from workflow itself, whichever is feasible for you, and you can save this. So whenever this criteria is satisfied, then the lead will be assigned to this specific user. That's what lead assignment rules are all about. So you can make use of lead assignment rules for different modules if you need. So if you have a condition in front of you and if you need the leads or contacts to be assigned automatically, then maybe you can try assignment rules. The second feature under the automation would be workflow rules. We know how important workflows are, and there are so many workflows that that are created over here, but I'm going to create a new workflow and show it to you. So how would you send out an email as soon as a lead gets created? So workflows are module specific, so you need to choose a module first. I'll choose the leads module and I'll name it send email. So when would you like to execute this rule? It would be on a record action because the action is happening immediately, right? The record has to be executed on a record action, and whenever a lead gets created, I'll choose next. And if the same condition over here, if you need to choose, so if you have a criteria, you can create it, you can add it here. If you do not, then you can choose all leads. So this is going to be happening for all the leads, and here I'll choose the email notification, and I'll create a new email notification over here. So the name of the email would be thank you email, and I'll choose the recipients, and that would be the leads email address. So it will fetch the email address from the leads module and it will send it out. And here I can choose the template. I can choose any template that I need, or if I need to create a new template, I can click on create template and I can create it. So that way you can send out an email automatically as soon as a lead is created. You can add more actions if needed. You can add conditions if needed. You can also add scheduled actions. So if you want an action to not happen immediately, you want an action to happen after some time, maybe after 24 hours, you can do that. And if you need to create a task, you can create a task as well. So this is workflow inside CRM, a very important part that lets you automate your entire process. So we had a look at the workflow rules, assignment rules inside the automation. So let's complete automation by seeing scoring rules, which would be the last. Scoring rules, like we discussed, let you score your leads. So based on the actions that they perform, you can score them. So over here, as an example, if you see if the budget is 10,000, then we add 5 points. If the email is not empty, we add 2 points because there's an email address there. There's a good way of following up or sending out emails. If the phone is empty, then subtract 2 points because you do not have a phone number. You only have an email address. Likewise, you can score your leads. And here you have email conditions as well. If you're sending out emails, then you can also score your leads. So an incoming email, if a lead sends out an email to you, you add 10 points. So based on those criteria, you can score your leads. And how would you see the lead score? You can just go inside the leads module and click on a lead, scroll down, and here you have the score summary. You get to see the score of the lead. Now, going inside each and every lead is not feasible. So that's why we have the filter options available. So here you can search for score and you have score available. If the score is 5, show me. I do not have much information inside this, so it does not show that. But that way you can keep a track and your sales reps can actually know which lead they need to call first. So that would be more of what automation has inside Salesforce automation. Looking inside the customization, we have multiple sales pipelines that we spoke about today. So coming inside here, you can create different pipelines, and based on the product, you can choose the deal. So whenever I'm going ahead and creating a new deal, I can choose the layout here. So here right now it's a rental deal, and if it's an insurance deal that I'm creating, then the stages, the field would differ. So you can create different layouts and you can create multiple pipelines for those layouts and keep a track of different stages inside the deals. And filters are an important part. So if you have a lot of information inside your CRM, then I'm going to suggest you to make use of filters so that you can keep a track of every deal, every contact, and every lead that's available inside your CRM. We also spoke about different channels that are available inside CRM. So email, we spoke about sales inbox. So all you need to do is do an IMAP integration with your mailbox. Let's say if you're using Gmail, just do a sync, an IMAP sync with CRM so that it syncs all your emails from Gmail and shows it up inside sales inbox. So you no longer have to log in inside Gmail to check your emails. You can just log into CRM, keep a track of your emails, send and receive them, and also keep a track of the emails that a lead or a contact sends you. So when I go inside a contact, you might find the emails option here. So here you can keep a track of any emails that are sent and received from a contact. It looks something like this. And you can look at what that email was. You can keep a track of it. We have telephony. We have more than 50 providers that integrate with CRM. So you can just integrate your phone bridge with Zoho and start making and receiving calls right from CRM. We have social channels, Facebook and Twitter. So you can make use of that to fetch leads from Facebook and Twitter because social media is very important. So this feature would be very important for your company. So all you need to do over here is create a new brand and sync it with CRM. In that way, you can start fetching leads from your Facebook and Twitter. And you can also automate the lead generation if you need. from Facebook and Twitter, so I haven't logged into it. That's why it um, does not let me do. But an example that I can give you here is whenever someone likes a post on Facebook, you want them to be created as a new lead. That can be done because that's an action that's performed on your social media, and based on that action, you're actually creating them as a new lead. And after they get created as a new lead, we saw the automation feature. So you can automatically send out an email and create a task so that your sales rep can follow up. We also have chat feature that's powered by Sales IQ. So for this, you need to have a Sales IQ account. But after you have it, you can actually have a chat box inside your website. So visitors visiting your website can chat with you. So these are various channels. We spoke about automation, we saw customization. Let me show you what data enrichment is all about. That's powered by Zia, and that's included in your CRM if it's an enterprise version. So Zia data enrichment works only for three modules. That's leads, contacts, and accounts. And it makes use of three fields: company name, email address, and website. If either of these fields has information, then it will start fetching information on the web. Let me show you an example here. So when I'm creating a new lead, and let's say I enter the lead name, and over here I scroll down and I enter the company name, say Zoho. And when I do that, I get this option on the top which says enriched data available. And when I hit on that, I get all the information from the web, whatever Zoho is able to fetch, whatever Zia is able to fetch. I'm sorry. So I get all the information and the address information that's very important, and I can just save this. And when I update the lead, it updates all the information. So your sales reps no longer have to go to the web to get more information. By making use of data enrichment, they can fetch that information automatically from the web and update it. And of course, we also saw web forms. So under developer space, you have web forms as a feature. You can create forms from here and you can update that on your website. So people can come on your website, fill that form up, and you can have them created as a new lead. This is how the form looks like. And of course, it can be customized and you can have that. All you need to do is after you create a form, just copy the code, embed that on your website, and then you'll see the form on your website, and anyone who fills up the form can be created as a new lead or a contact. That's another way of generating leads. We also saw reports, probably the last feature for today. When you go inside the reports module and click on all reports, you have different types of reports that are already available for you. So I don't think you need to create any reports if it's something basic that you're looking at, because those reports will already be available for you. Just try searching for it by making use of the search option. You'll find those reports, and if you do not, you can create a new one. These are various reports that are available, and these reports can be converted into a chart or maybe a pie chart, and you can have them added to the dashboard. And let me show you how a dashboard looks like. A good example for a dashboard is available here. So let me choose this. And this is one good example. This dashboard shows you the amount of leads that are created in this month, the amount of revenue that you've got, and the amount of deals that are in pipeline. And you can create new dashboards as well if you need to by clicking on this option. And when you do this, you have these options available: chart, KPI. You can also pick it from gallery and you can choose how it needs to look like. So if I choose this, I need something like this. And this one example is a template, and you can choose the condition over here and save it. So whichever deals are closed won, it shows us the amount of revenue that it has generated. So dashboard also needs to be created only once. You can push this dashboard to your home page so that whenever you log into CRM, you get to see that dashboard. That would also be possible. So that's more of what features we saw today, and these are pretty simple features when you start looking at it. But once you start working on it, I would like you to compare your business scenarios with with Salesforce automation and think about how Salesforce automation can actually be used in your business. I'm sure these basic automations like sending out emails automatically, most of them listening to this webinar would be using it or would plan to use it after looking at this. So I would like you to maybe go through this, explore it as much as possible, and let us know the feedback. So before we end this webinar, let's have a quick look at some frequently asked questions. So the question number one, is it possible to use the contacts module since we are B2C? Yes, we do have most of them have two different types of business, B2C and B2B. So it's not mandatory to make use of the accounts module. You can disable it based on what your business is about. If you are B2C, then you can only make use of the contacts module. How do I have my emails automatically associated with my contacts? So we did have a look at the emails module inside CRM that's available on the left hand side. So after you do an IMAP sync with CRM, once you do that, you'll have your email shown up, any email conversations that you have with your contacts or your leads that can be shown up. And by making use of the email integration feature, you can automatically associate that with your leads or contacts. How do I make my agents fill certain fields before being able to close a deal? And you can achieve this by making use of layout rules. So, for example, you want your sales reps to fill out the customer's email address or the customer's mailing address before they try to close a deal. In that case, you can make use of layout rules. You can make those fields a required fields so that whenever they try to close a deal, that comes up as a pop-up and they have to fill it up. In that way, they will not miss those fields and make sure that fields are filled up. Can I prevent my users from deleting records in a module? Yes, you can define permissions. You can make use of profiles to make sure that your users are unable to delete records from a module. So that's it with those frequently asked questions. So whatever we discussed today, guys, I would like you to work on it, explore it as much as possible. And please reach out to us at support@zohocrm.com if you have any questions at any point, and we'll be more than happy to help. Thank you so much for listening to this webinar. You all have a wonderful day ahead and stay safe.